It's Tuesday. It's Mark Pyers. And it's Real Talk.
I was walking down the road today, looking for another way to
Ease my mind
and help my living.
It's Real Talk. It's the daily variety show, Mark Pyers Real Talk. I'm here to help you make smarter moves, to amplify your current state. And I'm here with you on Tuesday, day 393 in a row. We're 1 week away from the 400th day in a row of Real Talk, which is pretty crazy. I'm very excited about getting to 400. Every time we get to a new 100, it's kind of exciting. You know, right now it's hashtag road to 730. We're on our way to the end of the second year of Real Talk. But every day we reach a new plateau. I know it's not really much of a stress to me to say, oh, I got to keep going every day. I just go. I just get on. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys today about something. I wanted to just pick your brains. I wanted to see how you pick yourselves up when you are feeling down. How do you generate energy when you're feeling low? Because I'm starting to realize we don't always have somebody around us to pull from, so you need to self-generate. Talk about self-generating, a lot in the last 393. But you have to figure out a way to generate your own energy. You have to find a way out of that darkness and find the light. I think the best way to do that is to lean towards one of your passions. I think you'll start thinking about it. You'll say, okay, wait a second. I'm feeling really low right now. How do I get better? Well, maybe if I pick one of the things that I love doing, it will sidetrack my mind. It will get me out of that dark place. It'll remind me that I'm just stuck in a moment. I tell you guys all the time, you want to live in the moment. Yes. But if you're in that moment and you're feeling down, don't feel like there's no tomorrow. I can't get past this moment. You have to just drive through it. You have to sustain, and you have to say to yourself, I will get better, first of all. But what can I do? What action steps can I take right now in order to bring myself up to a higher energy level, to a different vibrational state? Pick one of the passions you have. For me, it's music. I could just grab my guitar and start playing and let some of that anxiety, some of that stress, whatever it is, out of me and level back out again. For you, it may be fitness. You may feel like you need to go lift weights or jog. And whatever you decide to do, it's going to make you feel different than you did in this moment. It's funny, my admin threw some Real Talk at me today. She threw Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote back at me. She goes, just change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. I was like, yeah, Dr. Wayne Dyer. I love that quote. I live by that quote. And no matter how you're feeling, remember, you're thinking about something a specific way. You have to change the way you're thinking. Someone's calling me. I'm going to hang that up. So, in general, that's what I think you have to do. You got to figure out a way to climb out of the darkness. Zabrowski. Something like that brings you out, too. Again, if you can find someone who's feeling great and get around them, that will bring you back up as well. But draw on your passions when you're feeling down. Maybe you're a writer. Get it out. I happen to think every moment of despair in your life, every challenge that you face is making you a stronger person. If you stay strong and you fight, don't give up. You just keep going. And just remember that there is a tomorrow. One of the stories we're going to talk about today that I pulled up is Billie Eilish, who won a ton of Grammys. And she basically, I guess, had a long discussion about depression, and she had thoughts of suicide. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this today, is because I do see a lot of people who feel that the only way out is to end their life. And I just don't get that mentality, because you only get one. And no matter how bad this moment is, there is a day in the future where you'll look back with gratitude that you were strong enough to continue on. Because you're going to find a plateau at some point, and you're going to say, wait a second, I can't believe I was there. I was all the way down there, And look where I am today. And thank goodness that I stuck with it. Thank goodness that I didn't let that negativity beat me down. It's all within us, but we just have to keep reminding ourselves that we're powerful. We have to keep reminding ourselves when we're down that we have the strength to bring ourselves back up. You don't need real talk. I think you should tune in, but you don't need anything. You have the ability to generate positivity. Some of us have an easier time doing it than others, and some of us actually do need to connect with something. So like, I can't be so, blanket statement about this. I'm just thinking that leaning on your passions, that's how you're going to find more light than you have in the moment. My man, Trevor. My man. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Oh, bud, you got to check out the new BeatSeats. I don't know if you saw the newest version. It's sunburst like a guitar. Completely ridiculous. My man, Mark. And Sorcery Night. You guys rock. Twitch is in the house today. I love it. My people on Twitch, listen. This is day 393 in a row. This is the Real Talk program. It's a variety show. This is Real Talk. It's news, it's celebrity impressions, and then the BeatSeat, my invention, the drum you play with your hands and feet at the same time. Now you may say, what? The BeatSeat? Yeah, 2019 Summer NAMM Editor's Choice. My man Trevor will tell you all about it because he rocked out on it. There's a video of him on YouTube where he's like, he's talking about my snare. He goes, this is exactly where I want it. And that's what I tell every person who looks at it. Everybody who's an instructor, who's thinking the cajon is great. I say, look, it is great. It's a cool instrument, but this just is more comfortable and gives you 1,000 options instead of one or two hands. No, you use your whole body with this thing. So we're going to show you that. In fact, I'm like tempted to go over there and just, because Trevor's on right now, I don't know how long he could stay on. I don't think he's going to be on at the end of the show. Trev, I'm going to show you what this baby sounds like. Check this out. Ready? You guys ready for something? I'm going to throw in a little instrumental I recorded here. And we'll play along with it, okay? Let me see what we got. Oh, I like this one. Check this out. Something more upbeat. Hold on. Give me something more upbeat. Basically, that's it, guys. And I'm not a percussionist at all. Like, Trevor's the man. You got to check that dude out. He's ridiculous, all right? And I got to get my man on a BeatSeat. Trev, we got to talk offline, my friend. Oh, and you know what's crazy? So Trevor saw the BeatSeat at NAMM, played it at NAMM, in the worst part of the room at NAMM. This is something that, you learn, you evolve, right? You figure things out while you're in the middle of it. I'm not even on the screen right now. There we go. So you figure things out while you're in the middle of it. And Trevor's rocking out on the BeatSeat. We're tucking him in the corner so you could try to hear it. And it's so hard to hear in the room because what they did is they put the BeatSeat in the back corner with drum kits everywhere. We had like 7 drum kits around us. And everybody's rocking out on drum kits. And I got brushes with a box that has 2 snares in it. And I didn't have amplification. I didn't know it was going to be that part of the room, so I didn't bring headphones. I didn't bring like a multi-track system. Like if next year, if we do NAMM, which we're going to do NAMM, we're going to go there again, and I'll have headphones, because if they throw me back there again, I'm going to have Trevor with like noise cancellation headphones on so he can hear what I'm doing there. Like, I'm just going to give you some tone real quick. Just check this out, okay? I'm not playing any music with it. I want you to hear the tones out of this BeatSeat. It's ridiculous. And I got to do this one, because then at least you guys can see me. Hold on, where is it? Yeah, there we go. All right, so just check out all of this tone. I mean, really? It's completely ridiculous what you could do on a BeatSeat. I'm just saying. I know, isn't the rubbing noise totally ridiculous? No, so they all have that option. It's so hard to hear anything in the room you were in, but like literally, Trev, like when I say it has omnitone, you could hear everywhere I hit it sounds different, and I'm terrible. So like I gotta get you on it, because when your hands are going, like guys, this kid's hands are like, it's like silk. It's the best way I can explain. It's like silk. Just I'm like, because when you hear someone bring your product to life like that, it's truly something. And I heard it in a room the same as he was hearing it. I was listening to it and it didn't sound right. You know, like it's like I hear boom, and this guy's trying to pitch his product to a couple of musicians going by. The guy across from me had these really cool he had these drums where you could turn the tone up and down. It's called Welsh drums, really cool. So he'd be like, he's sitting there playing the kit, just showing people, and as soon as they'd come by, he'd be like, and he's just moving it with a key. It was really cool, but he's loud. And then my men over there with the junk hat were there just like, and that thing's loud as heck. And we're there with a BeatSeat. So the shaking, you wouldn't hear any of that in that room, but the stuff you discover and again, I just play around. I'm like, ooh, did you hear that one? Like there was something I did there where I hit with my hand, and the way I hit it and slapped, it hit the snare, but the beef of the kick, and it was like, that's the first time I heard that. And I'm like, so I'm still discovering things that you can do with your hands, and it's just the way you hit it. But I've figured out around 17 or 18 different tones that I'm finding, and I'm not a percussionist. So someone like Trev is going to go out there and just be like, he's going to find 50 or 60 because they're everywhere. And I've noticed, I've seen some percussionists who actually hold the wood while they hit it, and they'll get some of that effect. You don't have to do that with the BeatSeat because you just move your hand and it does that. But we saw a dude from Boston who was playing on it. He did like 10 things I'd never heard. And I'm like, oh, now he wasn't kicking it. I was waiting for him to start kicking it, because if he was kicking it and playing it with his hands, rap. Because what he was doing with his hands was amazing. He was hitting it all over the place. He was getting some tones and some, I don't know, the way he was moving his hands. These percussionists, they're taught to use their hands in a specific way. I didn't learn any of that. It's the same way as everything else in my life. I pick it up as I go, and I master it as I go, and I have no fear. And even this now, it's funny, I'm a terrible percussionist, but I have to stop saying that, because I'm defeating my ability to be better. I'm pushing myself down every time I say that, but there are moments where I'm in the middle of playing, and I'm like, this isn't that bad. Keeping the beat. What I have to stop doing is trying to get so intricate, getting so unique within. Just play the beat. You know what I mean? Like when you get to a point where you're like Trevor Trout, who's out there and he can actually just hear something like I do on the guitar and go and get it. For me right now, I'll hear something and my hands aren't quick enough. My combination of doing the double kick and I'm just not there. But the more I tell myself I'm a terrible percussionist, the more I guarantee that I will never be a great percussionist. Now I'm going to challenge myself to something, okay? Because I've been doing that since I built the BeatSeat. I say I'm not a percussionist. I'm a terrible percussionist. I'm going to flip the script from today on. I'm going to call myself a percussionist. Because that term, percussionist, is a loose term. You don't have to be master percussionist to be a percussionist. If I start telling myself day after day when I go sit on that thing that I'm a percussionist, forget about my level. I'm a guitarist and I'm a percussionist. Day after day, I'm going to train myself to say those words. And maybe if I do this, not maybe, I'm going to do this. And there will be a period of time not too far into the future where I will actually say to you, real talk, say to you that I'm a great percussionist. And this is what real talk is about. I didn't even think about that for 7.5 years since I invented this. I talk myself down every time I play it. Every time something does start to feel right, I'm like, yeah, but I'm a guitarist. No, I'm a musician. You give me any instrument, I'm going to make music on it, okay? I can make music on that with my feet. Doing it with my whole body is something I'm still working towards. But as it is, I'm one of, there's not that many people on the planet that have a BeatSeat right now. So what this is forcing me to do is to get better. I want to be able to show it off the way that Trevor could show it off. Could do it with the guitar, but not sitting there. I mean, you start to feel it, right? So let's try this from here on out. You're a percussionist. Forget about level. And the reason I'm thinking this too is because I've noticed people that get started in like stand-up comedy, for example. Oh, my man, Trav, thank you so much, brother. But the people who get into any business, you have to start telling yourself that you are that or you never will be that. Now, maybe for 7 years I've said I have no interest in being a percussionist. Well, look. Oh, Mark, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on. And but in general, look, you really have to talk yourself up and don't put yourself down. Okay? If anything, that's what I just taught myself. Don't put myself down, no matter what it is. You're either good at something or you're not, but you only get good at it if you believe that you are good at it or can be good at it. And you don't stop until you are good at it. It's about training. It's about focus, determination, commitment. 393 days in a row. I'm continuing to improve my craft here. I'm continuing to evolve into this show, whatever it's becoming. And there's a lot of stuff that's happened in 393, guys. But let's get to the news. It's already 5:30 right now, and I want to make sure I can get a song or two in for you guys. I got to get going around 6 today, so let's see what we got for the news. So this one, I'm really nervous about this, guys. We've been talking about this for a few weeks now. Scientist who simulated the global impact of a coronavirus outbreak says the cat's already out of the bag and calls China's efforts to contain the disease unlikely to be effective. Scientist and scholar Eric Toner, quoted above in an excerpt from a Friday interview, explained that China's efforts to contain the current outbreak of a fast-moving upper respiratory illness are unlikely to be effective. Cases of the illness, which are related to SARS, or severe acute respiratory syndrome, and MERS, Middle East respiratory syndrome, have now turned up in a number of countries beyond China. USA. Really worried about this, guys. In Connecticut. There's a case in Connecticut, or more, I don't even know. The number of infections of coronavirus, COV, in China has risen to nearly 4,500, and the death toll has climbed to 106 from 56 as of Tuesday. Guys, that's 50 in a day. Just doing quick math for you. Beijing has shut down parts of the Great Wall, as well as more a dozen cities, restricting the movement of tens of millions of people and canceling events related to the Lunar New Year. This is one of the busiest periods of travel and consumerism in the country, and the holiday has been extended to February 2nd in an effort to curb the spread of the virus. Now, I'll just tell you a side note. I have a client who has a daughter-in-law that's there right now and can't leave, like indoors. And he said that where you see usually 1 million people walking through the streets, there are 0 people. There's like one person riding a bike through the streets with a mask on. Nobody's out. Everyone's terrified. They're all indoors. This is scary stuff, guys. They talk about the Spanish flu, the connection, 20 to 50 million people died in 1918. And we're here in 2020, roughly 100 years later, and we're embarking on the same journey here. Now, thank God we have newer technology. We have newer pharmaceuticals that can keep us alive, or a lot of us. I think the biggest thing here, they say, is most people die from asphyxiation from pneumonia. So as long as you are being monitored, not as long. I mean, 106 people died so far, guys. So I'm really nervous about this. I don't know what you guys think about it. Should we be nervous? I'm washing my hands like a crazy man. I've been washing my hands like 17 times a day. I'm not even joking about that. I got 3 kids. I'm not playing around. I don't want to be quarantined. I'm staying away from everybody. That's why I'm on Real Talk here. I'm on a screen. I'm on camera. I'm not going to be anywhere. Phil, what's up, buddy? Take a lot of vitamin C. Heaping glasses of bourbon. It will keep the virus away. I like that, Phil. Phil's always thinking. By the way, guys, I'm going to be on Phil's radio show in March. I'm very excited about this. I don't think there's a broadcast in March, but I'm very excited to be on it. Thank you, Phil, for asking me. Looking forward to that. And I don't know what we're going to talk about. I hope I could come up with something to say, Phil. 393 days of universe coming right out. Phil and I are going to get into some crazy stuff, I think. I think we're going to start with one thing and then it'll just lead into something else, because when you get people together who want to just have a nice conversation and you let it happen, something good comes from that. That's why I can't wait to bring more guests on in here. And even if it's audio, I think there's a way, I know there's a way, I could bring in phone calls on my show. So we're going to have to figure that out. We will talk about me. I love it, Phil. I'm happy to talk about you, my friend. So listen, we are officially here talking about this story. I'm going to move on. Let me get you to the next story here. This one's interesting, guys. I don't know if you saw this. This is very interesting because, I don't even know why I'm talking about it, but I just figure it's a cool story, sort of. Stephen King says Oscars are rigged in favor of white people. Now, I just think Stephen King getting involved in anything is kind of interesting. So let's hear what he has to say. Someone give this guy an Oscar for flip-flopping. Okay, so this is an interesting story. You guys know I don't read any of these things, right? I just saw the title and I'm like, okay, well, let's read that one. Anybody who's going after racism, I just want to talk about it on the show because I feel like it needs to be squashed. We're in 2020. This world has become the melting pot and everybody should be like, yeah, you're all my brothers. You're all my sisters. We are one. This mentality of 50 years ago is just sickening. This 2020, this is the Real Talk mentality. We are one person. We are one soul broken up into 7 billion, okay? If we all came together, we'd be the soul of God, whatever you want to call it. But all of us together equal, oneness. Like we are essentially one soul. That's what I don't know. I feel like that's the thing. Don't know why I think that. And we're just pieces of God, right? Pieces of that essence. And again, God is whatever you want to call it, but pieces of it. So listen, Stephen King, let's hear what he has to say about this. Less than 2 weeks after appearing to poo-poo the need for dedicated diversity efforts when it comes to Academy Awards recognition, best-selling author Stephen King is sounding off the ongoing need for inclusion in the film industry. Should we do an impression of Stephen King? I don't know what he sounds like, guys, but this is what his quote was. I feel like he'd have to be like some creepy sounding dude because he does all those thrillers. Like, I would never consider diversity in matters of art. Only quality. It seems to me that to do otherwise would be wrong, the 72-year-old tweeted on January 14th, sparking heated backlash from When They See Us filmmaker Ava DuVernay, and activist author Roxane Gay. Cue the cultural mea culpa. The Oscars are still rigged in favor of white people, King now declares in a new op-ed on the Washington Post. The man whose pop-lit catalog spawned cinematic classics such as Carrie, The Shining, and Shawshank Redemption goes on to proclaim he did Shawshank Redemption? Like, that's not like a scary movie, though. I'm actually impressed. Because everything he does is like, the world is going to end. There's a virus that takes over. Shawshank's like a good, I got to read that now. I only saw the movie. Look, if there's a good movie, I'm not going to read the book. I'm just telling you, okay? If there's a good movie, I'm going to watch the movie. Who has time to read the book too, unless it's a ridiculous book? Phil, tell me, and maybe I'll read it. But besides that, I'm on Real Talk. I don't have time to be reading. I'm here delivering a book to you guys. So listen, here we go. King continues, judging anyone's work by any other standard is insulting, and worse, it undermines those hard-won moments when excellence from a diverse source is rewarded. By leaving such recognition vulnerable to be dismissed as politically correct. Look, I'm not going to read this entire thing, whatever. If you want to check out Stephen King, I just thought it was something that we should just quickly get into. So this is the story. You know what? I'll do this one first. Yeah, I'll do this one first, and then we'll get into the Billie Eilish story. So this one, I am going to just talk about this very quickly. Talk about this complete scummy human being. I live in I work in New Canaan, okay? And in New Canaan, you may recall there's this horrible thing happened in May, and Jennifer Dulos we believe was murdered by her husband, okay? Fotis Dulos, this guy who basically runs a construction company here in town and upstate. And I never met him before, but I knew his company. And now that this is all going on, I obviously figured out a little bit more about who he is, but totally horrible human being. Today, he tried to murder him. So he tried to kill himself, suicide. Apparently, he probably couldn't live with what he did. And he's just going to take the easy way out, leave his 5 kids behind after he murdered the mother of the 5 kids. And now he's going to leave those 5 kids on this planet by themselves when he should rot in jail, when he should be put to death if he really truly did what he did, which I don't see how he couldn't have. They were going through a contentious divorce. I just did a little more research. I didn't realize he was some grad from Brown University for applied mathematics, and then he went to Columbia University for business school. So he is of the mindset that he's above and that he has the education that he can get away with something. And this is the reason he did this. He thought he can get away with it. He was like, oh, I'm smart enough to get rid of the body, and I will get away with it. Well, you know what? You don't get away with things. My wife always says the truth comes out. It may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow, but the truth comes out. And this guy, the truth came out today. I don't know if he left a note. I was hoping when I first heard that he died and that he committed suicide, and he actually died this morning. And we're talking about that in the office here. I said, are you kidding me? To me, that guarantees that he is the scumbag that we all think he is. Because anybody who's not going to fight back when they know they didn't do what the world is saying they did and try to take the easy way out just proved to me that he did kill his wife. There's no way you'd leave your 5 children on this planet alone when they lost their mother 6 months ago, 7 months ago, unless you were the guy. So, Phil sent me a better story. Let's see what this is. West Fair Online. I'm going to pull it up real quick, guys. Give me a second. Fotis Dulos. West Fair. Let's see what comes up. Let's see what comes up, my brother. All right, it's still not coming up. Let me see West Fair Online. All right, here we go. Here we go. Nope, still not the same thing. Where am I? Anyway, let me see if I can pull up Phil's. The problem is, if I go into here, you know what, we're going to do it anyway. Phil sent it to me over here. Let me just see what the website address is here. But honestly, guys, you know what? I'll read that one offline, Phil. It's going to take me too long. But this guy is a real piece of work. And right now, apparently he's in critical condition. And, you know, I hope that he stands trial. I hope they have an opportunity to uncover what happened. And I'm also hoping that he wrote a letter. And he said, yep, I'm the monster you guys think I am, and I'm taking the easy way out. And I'm sorry. I'm hoping that he did all these things, but who knows? A calculated, serial murderer or whatever the hell you want to call this guy. He thought he can get away with it. That's the bottom line. He thought that his applied mathematics degree and his business degree from Columbia University would put him in a position where he can get away with murder. I'm sorry. You always get caught. So listen, we're gonna share the most important story of the day with you, okay? Because this is a Grammy winner who talked about suicide and talked about depression. And I just want to hear what she has to say. I didn't actually read the story yet, so we're going to do it together. Let's see what it is. Billie Eilish credits her mom with saving her life. Now she aims to help struggling fans. I like this girl. You know what? It's funny, I haven't heard any of her music. I know she apparently swept the awards the other day. I haven't heard one of her songs. Do you know that? And when I saw the story, now I want to listen to her album just to see what she's, Billie Eilish says her mom helped her save her life when she was battling depression and suicidal thoughts. And now the Grammy artist has taken her experiences and turned them into an opportunity to be there for others going through the same thing. Speaking with Gayle King on Thursday's segment of Gayle King Grammy Special, Eilish explained her mom came to the rescue when she was in a dark place. Eilish said her mom, Maggie Baird, recognized that music was something her daughter loved, but realized they would have to cut back on her tour schedule and learn to say no. The young artist also went to therapy and had family support to help her through depression. We checked in with her all the time. Do you still want to do this? Baird said. She loved doing the shows. The fans and the shows, that's what kept her going. I just grabbed them by the shoulders and I'm like, please take care of yourself and be good to yourself and be nice to yourself. Don't take that extra step and hurt yourself further, then you can't take it back, Eilish told King. Last year, Eilish appeared on a PSA for Seize the Award, a public service campaign for the Ad Council, the JED Foundation, and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, intended to empower 16 to 24-year-olds and to talk about mental health issues with their peers and help their friends in need. A few months later, the Everything I Wanted artist got real about her own mental health in a September cover story for Elle. 2 years ago, I felt like nothing mattered. Every single thing was pointless, not just in my life, but everything in the world. I was fully clinically depressed. It's insane to look back and not be anymore. This is Billie Eilish, guys. So that's the end of the article, but my takeaway is, here is a person who's looking back with gratitude today. Didn't we talk about that at the beginning of the episode today? You need to drive through the despair, the negative feelings. Drive through it and find the light. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, guys, but I guarantee you, you will get there. Just don't give up. And one day, you will look back, as Billie Eilish did on this interview, and have gratitude for her mother, have gratitude that she was able to just drive through the depression, through the anxiety, the stress, because there is light on the other side, guys. There is. And no matter how overwhelming the feeling, and it is overwhelming, no matter how overwhelming, it's gonna come to an end. You will break through the other side of that depression, of that anger, frustration, whatever it is. And remember, when we go back to the beginning of the show, I said, you need to lean on your passions. You need to find something that brings joy to you. And when you feel at your lowest, go and do that thing. Go and do that thing. Because you know for certain that that thing brings you up. If it's shooting hoops, if it's playing golf, it's playing your guitar, it's having a conversation with your mom, whatever it is that brings you up, do it. That thing is there for you. It's a crutch for you, I know, but you gotta get through that moment. You gotta get to that future where you look back with gratitude. Phil said he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's an oncoming train. Phil, get out of the way! Michael, what's up, my brother? How you doing, my friend? I'm here with you guys, day 393 in a row. I think we should get into some music. I'm going to play you guys a song. I don't know what I'm going to play you, but this is real talk. We go over there and grab the guitar and we let some magic happen. How about it? Let's do something like that. Let's make some magic happen. Alrighty. Here we go, here we go, here we go. I'm going to play you guys a song right now I wrote about my daughter. I was driving to my office about a week before she was born. Just a little side note, my wife and I never found out what we were going to have. We were surprised for all 3 kids. I feel like in life there are very few surprises that are good surprises. It's usually like, Mr. Pyers, we got the results back. We're going to have to amputate that toe. Whatever, you know what I mean? So it's never a good surprise. But having a child and not knowing what that child is going to be is one of the most beautiful surprises in the world. And my favorite one was when my son was born, who was our first. The doctor was really cool, and he knew that we were going to be surprised. And as he took out my son, he covered up his privates, and he did the big reveal. He goes, shoo, and I was like, it's a boy! It was the craziest thing in the world, but he was so cool to play along like that. Like, that was one of the greatest moments of my life. I still remember it, moment for moment, the way he did that. He played that out for us, like, amazingly. So anyway, I'm heading to my office, and I see this sunset. And it is one of the most beautiful sunsets I'd seen because of the color arrangement. I saw a spectrum of like every color in the sky, and it almost looked like a meteor to hit the planet. And like, it was that amazing. And I thought to myself in that one moment, I said, geez, a meteor hit the surface of my world. I was like, whoa, wait a second. A meteor hit the surface of my world. Having a child. Everything changes. It's like a meteor hitting. Cataclysmic. And this song became. A meteor hit the surface of my world. Explosion changed the why and how I feel. Shook my world, it showed me love was real. A meteor hit the surface of my I can feel it in my bones now, and I won't let it go. It's a feeling that I never felt before. This time it's more than just a dream, yeah. And now I got it, I'm not letting it go. Whoa, 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 whoa. A meteor hit the surface of my world. Explosion changed the why and how I feel. Shook my world, it showed me love was real.
the surface of my world. It hit me, my defenses gave in. Her lovely smile, her heart and mine, forever beat as one. There's no way you could ever fake this love. A meteor in the surface of my world. Explosion changed the why and how I feel. Shook my world, it showed me love was real. A meteor hit the surface of my world. 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 So that was for my daughter. I'm hearing a lot of something weird coming through that speaker. I've got a woman, wear her town, she good to me. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I've got a woman, wear her town, she good to me. Oh, she bring me money when I'm in need. She kind of friend indeed. I've got a woman, wear her town, she good to me. Knows how to love me, she treats me right. She knows the woman's place, it's right there now in her home. Got a woman, wear her town, she good to me. Oh, I've got a woman, wear her town, she good to me. Oh, she bring me money when I'm in need. Kind of she running deal. I've got a woman, oh, wear her town, she good to me, she good to me. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, Patience. Love it. Love it. Patience is on. Is that Urs? Urs is on. What's up, Urs? So that was a little I Got a Woman. That was a little I'm Not on the Screen. There we go. That was a little I Got a Woman.
and my song, Meteor, which again, I've written about 100 and now it's probably like 180 songs, okay? And I'm just pulling them all out for you guys on a daily basis, just here to just provide some sort of inspiration by showing you some creativity at the same time. And these are songs that were a part of my life. They meant a lot to me when I wrote them. And in part, they actually mean more to me now than they did then. I reflect now and I have a whole different experience towards them, a whole different feeling towards all of the words. And I'm just thankful that you guys are along for the ride. Thank you very much. Let's see what we got over here. What time is it? This is perfect timing, guys. We're just finishing up just in time. I can get on the road, get home in time. You know what I mean? But hope you guys learned something today, that you can get through anything. You could generate your own positivity. I'm banking on it. I'm banking on you generating your own positivity. So as we finish up the show, head over to YouTube, subscribe and ding the bell. Go over to teespring.com, that's with 2 E's, and just type in Mark Pyers Real Talk, or you could do teespring.com/stores/Mark Pyers Real Talk. And check out some of the t-shirts that you can pick up with Real Talk quotes on them. Like, see it, believe it, become it. You need to see your opportunities. You need to believe that you can do what you see and then become it. Become everything you've been meant to be. That's not an easy thing, guys. It takes years of fine-tuning, of searching within. Don't go out there looking. It's not there. The answers are not outside of you. They are within your soul. And if you don't start looking within, you're going to find yourself a very old person looking back, wondering where you went wrong. You're going to look back and say, why didn't I listen to the signs? Why didn't I listen to my intuition? Why didn't I listen to my heart when it told me that I liked that thing? No. Can't do that. That's going against the grain. The one thing I would say about today's generation is it allows you to be an entrepreneur a lot more than it did 50 years ago. 50 years ago, you had to stay in line. If you didn't stay in line, you really are in trouble if you fail. But now it's like, as an entrepreneur, you could fail at 10 things and hit one, and who cares about the other 9? You know what I mean? And I think that it's a beautiful thing, but also it leads everybody into thinking that they can be an entrepreneur successfully. And that's a hard thing to swallow, guys. I want to share something with you. Okay? 393 days in a row. I've been here doing an hour. Okay? If this was so easy, don't you think there would be thousands of people tuning in already after 393 days in a row? No, because your work is not defined. Your finish line is not defined. You control where you go, and if you're not working, you're not getting anywhere. I'm working and still not getting anywhere. So my point is, it's not easy. But when you believe in something and you don't get beaten down by the not easy, and you drive through not easy with a smile, that is when you're onto something. When you keep hearing no after no, or you just keep getting the shade and you still feel like you're on the right path. You're on the right path. Don't listen to all of the noise. You know that, guys. Got to stay away from the noise. So listen, I appreciate you guys. I will be back tomorrow for day 394. We're 1 week away from the 400th episode in a row, 400th day in a row. You know, some days we actually have 2 episodes in a day. One of these days I'm going to go back. I'm going to look and see how many shows I've actually broadcast since I started this process on December 31st. Because some days I did come on twice, sometimes 3 times. You know, it was 530 shows, whatever. I'm gonna check one day and go on Facebook, because that's the only place I think that has a record. Instagram, everything left after 24 hours, and YouTube only started on day 318. So Facebook is the only way to determine how many shows there have been. And actually, that's not a good way of doing it either, because I was doing Facebook, then doing Instagram, then doing LinkedIn, then doing YouTube, then doing Twitter every day for the first like 200 days, okay? Which means that's 500 shows right there. If you break it down by per show, each platform is a show. It was at the beginning of this Real Talk. And we finally broke into this awesome Restream thing that we use now, where I'm broadcasting on 9 platforms at once. And the chat window's working today, guys. I'm here with some peeps. Louise, what's up, my buddy? Good to see you, my friend. So listen, guys, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Tomorrow it's 5:55 right now. I'm going to make a wish. Don't tell anybody your wishes, okay? They don't come true if you tell people what your wish is. Keep it to yourself. I think the greatest thing I learned today was to not talk down to myself. I think that's something I'm going to start doing. At the end of each episode, I'm going to do a reflection on what we went over that day. What did we discuss in today's episode? Well, today we discussed Billie Eilish and the struggles and challenges she had in order to get to Grammy winner, and thoughts of suicide and depression. And she stood on a stage and collected Grammy after Grammy the other day, looking back with gratitude at the moments when she was feeling that despair. And we talked about today how you can generate your own positivity, and how when you feel at your lowest, you need to lean on your passions in life. You need to drive towards the things that you know you like to do, and they will help you out of the darkness and bring you towards the light. And I think that's the best takeaway that I got from the day. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. And the Meteor song was pretty solid, I would say. So if you want to go back and check out Meteor, good song. I Got a Woman was pretty good, wasn't it? What do you guys think? Listen, I don't know until I go back and listen to these things, but sometimes I'm like, that was a pretty good performance while I'm in the middle of it. And then it usually winds up being pretty good. The bad ones wind up being okay. It's weird. We're very critical of ourselves. We are extremely critical. It's funny. I'll even think about something from the show that happens. And I'll remember I was trying to think about a moment or a name or something. And in my mind, it was like a 20-second lapse between when I was like, Billie Eilish. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was such a long period of time. And then when I went back and listened to it, it was like a split second. It was like, yeah. And then, I went down and then we saw, I wouldn't say, but we saw Billie Eilish. I'm like, that was the pause, but I make it seem like it's so much longer. Like, we are so critical of ourselves. When I was writing and I was recording in the studio, I would be so critical of the performance, of the recording. If one note was wrong, I was like, we got to redo the whole thing. Like, that's stupid. It's stupid. I think music and art is about imperfection. It's about creating something that has some holes in it. You know what I mean? Like, we make everything so perfect now. Every recording is perfect. But there was always a nuance in the old recordings where something was a little off and it just made it rich, Maybe not off, but it was still, there was some hole. There was something there that you could feel. Now it's just so, everything's just perfect. Auto-tune, I want to hear someone's real voice. I think it's a funny thing. I'll see these hip hop, I'll watch a show and it's like, I'm like, why do you have the auto-tune on the guy live? What, your voice must be horrendous if you have auto-tune on while you're recording or while you're playing live. The worst voice in history if you're using auto-tune live. In fact, I don't know. I think you should be able to do the track without auto-tune. I'm just saying. Everything you hear of me, I didn't auto-tune this. Probably would have been better if I did, because you wouldn't hear my imperfections in my vocals. But you know what? This track is hot the way it is. Listen to my voice. It's not perfect.
I was walking down the road today, looking for another way.
I don't like that way. I was off on that.
My living.
That wasn't on.
I look into the windows of the passing car.
But I'm critical of myself, but that's what allows me to be at my best. It allows me to grow. If you're not critical of your actions, you will never grow. You will stay stumped. You will sit there and you will just do nothing. You have to be overly critical of yourself. And that's where your drive comes from. It's when you realize that you messed up on that and you could have done it better. I'll remember, I'll hear a vocal performance. I'm like, I could do that so much better. Just wants me to, it drives me to get up and grab that guitar and maybe re-record it. I don't know, but it's always pushing you to do better. That's what you're doing when you're being critical of yourself. You're pushing yourself to become better. Something we're all still reeling from the Kobe Bryant tragedy. But one of the things I take away from this young man's life is that he always pushed through adversity. And one of his quotes was that whenever there were challenges, whenever there was more than he could handle, he saw it as his opportunity to rise up. And that's just powerful, guys. And you have to feel the same way. You have to rise up. So make sure, guys, got to be ready to do it. Let me put something else on. What do you think? And I will see you guys tomorrow on the next Real Talk. If you have any topics for tomorrow, let me know. Any songs you want me to play on the BeatSeat tomorrow, let me know. If not, I will see you probably late in the day tomorrow, 4 o'clock, 4:30. It's Mark Pyers.